Hello, Pisces. I hope everybody is doing really well. And I'm so excited to connect with you guys today because it's been a couple of days since my last reading. I received a plethora of information for the month ahead. This has been one of the busier channeling sessions in a while. So a lot of great, powerful messages coming through for you. In fact, much like one of the other signs this month, you got a couple of totems. So I will talk about that in just a moment. But let me introduce myself first. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be looking at Pisces. You can always use this for really any placement in your chart. Of course, I kind of designed them so they can be looked at for sun, rising, and moon, but you can look at it anywhere that you know that you have Pisces, so Venus, etc. So if you like, also the way that the beginning portion works is that the information contained within the beginning can be relevant to anybody that tunes in. So if you just feel like you need some guidance, you can come for the beginning and end always, or stick around, because I'm a channeler, a medium, and I use cards, but I'm picking up on whoever shows up in the room. So I think many of you found that out already. I'm aiming this towards Pisces, or I'm sorry, yeah, aiming it towards Pisces, but anybody can benefit from it. Right, Apollo? I'm gonna put down this lovely little guy here and we're gonna get started. So this is how your reading is going to be organized today. I like to set up expectations before we get started. There'll be like 4 main parts and little subcategories within them, but the beginning portion is going to include all the stuff that I wrote on the table here, which comes to me in dreams and meditations. So we'll begin with this. Then we're going to move along to the Celtic Cross, which I allow to take on any shape or form that it wants to. So that could include things about your current work situation. It could be relationships, it could be health. It's going to be a combination of these. I make sure that we touch upon everything when we go into the expanded forecast, where I will specifically look at health, wealth, love, and destiny in that order. And we'll do a quick mini review, and then we go a little deeper. Typically, whenever I look at stuff like this, there's always something that comes through where I think we all have questions about how can I get past this? Or there's like one big goal or maybe barrier. And so in the soul path, we'll try to dig into that a little bit and find a way for you to have some options. And we'll meditate. And then something I've started new just this month is to have you have a silent question, and I'll pull a card on that. So you can just think it and kind of meditate on what it is that you want to work past. And I'll pull an extra card at the end. It's a reason to stick around or come back if you need to for that message. Okay, so that's how everything's organized. And sometimes additional things will come through as I'm doing the reading. So we'll just go with it. That's the fun thing about how intuitive work basically happens. It's always kind of in the flow and in the moment, which is why I've really enjoyed being live. I think it's great to see everybody here. All the different parts of the world, by the way, welcome. I'm seeing everybody saying hello from across the globe. So good to see you. I'm glad you made some time. And thank you for being patient. One thing that's kind of cool with Pisces is my third eye is wide open by the time I have your reading. So there's a ton of information that flows through. If you like what you see today, just a reminder, hit like and subscribe. It helps. Engagement helps with discovery. So you can even just comment later and put some emojis. I don't care. But when you guys do connect with me and show that you like what you see, it helps this get to other people. And that's why I'm showing up. So however you want to engage, hitting that thumbs up icon or hitting subscribe is very helpful. You can also show support during the reading with super chat and super stickers. There's a little icon right next to the emojis that allows you to send some contributions my way. And it helps me continue to keep both my tarot decks up to date and also all of the supplies, and just helps pay for the time that I show up here. So thank you. And on replay, there's a feature called Applaud. I'll talk about more ways to connect later, but we've got a lot to talk about. So let's get into your reading, okay? I'm going to start with the totems today. And it was interesting this week. I kind of got 3 in 1. I was able to see Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces at once when I was meditating. And after I saw yours a couple of days ago, today I was surprised by an additional one right on my front door. So we're going to start with that. But your dual totem today is going to be the dandelion and the honeybee. I know that I talked about a bumblebee once before, but they're different. Honeybees are not as, so I have a little piece of Apollo's hair there. Honeybees are smaller, and I believe that they can only sting once based on what I was looking at too. But here's our honeybee. And so when I was opening up my door this morning, there was one on the front door, asleep, not harming me or anything. And I thought, okay, we're going to have to talk about you. So we're going to start with the honeybee first, and then we're going to move along to the dandelion. Okay, so the honeybee is, because it was sleeping, I feel like there's an activation. There's some sort of a latent energy that wants to come through for you. And I think that this could be, for some of you, an intuitive awakening, right? Almost as if, for some of you, it could be as intense as a kundalini awakening. For others, it could be an epiphany, an idea, something that you feel like, I have to do this. Or you just get insight into something that you haven't before. And maybe it was easy to ignore it, but it feels like now it's time. It's time to do something about it. It's time to observe and embrace and honor the energy. Like the Knight of Swords, prepare for swift movement and decision-making. It's time to think on your feet, basically. And sometimes when these windows of opportunity open up, there's not a lot of time to sort of think, can I do it? Can I not do it? I feel like if it feels right, it's important to move through that opportunity. I love bees, whether it's a honeybee or a bumblebee, because to me, it symbolizes a combination of power and also fertility or abundance. Because basically, as they go and drink their nectar, they're pollinating the whole way. So just by moving, just by the act of moving forward a little bit this month, you're starting to bring about that change, that fertility, that awakening. And all that's required on your part is to keep moving, something that I have talked to some other signs about recently. So start the momentum, start the action, and try to have fun with it if you can too. The thing that you can never really look at a bee and not pay attention to the stinger. So to me, when I was tuning into the bee, what it was really about was a verbal barbing, if you will, sort of trying to, for some people, they could be trying to get under your skin, literally trying to say something that basically makes you kind of react. There could also be a very sharp remark, something that was intended to hurt. So if somebody does that, the best thing that you can do is either walk away or neutralize it. If you have to stand up for yourself, that's fine, but try not to meet them with the same sort of tonality. And if it's you, avoid it. Sometimes it can be like an immediate rush if you sort of do that verbal barbing or sparring, but in the long run, it also hurts you too. Because in the case of a bee, a honeybee, when it stings, it dies afterwards, right? So it's a very cool metaphor for what happens when we hurt other people. We're hurting ourselves too. So if they're hurting you, they're already hurting on the inside. So let's not hurt them more. Let's try to disconnect or get a mediator or someone else involved. If someone's abusive or bullying, for sure, you've got to fight and stand up for yourself. But you don't necessarily have to fight one-on-one with that person, because sometimes people just feed off of that tension. So avoid it, neutralize, go higher than. Because one thing that bees can do is, as I saw it in the comments, just fly above it, go to another place, another area, another energy. Maybe it's time to move from like drone or worker bee to the queen bee, to really start to make things happen. There can only sometimes be one queen bee in a particular situation. So when you're looking at growth opportunities, look at your upward mobility, look at the other leaders and see if they're welcoming to you, or if kind of like the structure that you see with bees and ants. I talked about ants recently. Sometimes there can only be one leader. And if that's the case and you want to see that, then you'll have to decide if it's something that you want to stick around and do. But leadership in general is good. So let's just think that the combination of the bee symbology could just be like the Empress card, right? Deciding to own things, deciding to do something about something. And those are the main messages that came through. I pretty much love bees in general. I don't have anything bad to say. The only other thing, and it's kind of overstated, which is why I didn't really put it here, but in communication, it might be more effective to just simply add something positive at the beginning, put the honey at the beginning, right? Because it's so much easier than going in straight for the critical part of it. So although I didn't touch it here, it'd be kind of like the Queen of Swords in reverse. One way that you can start to approach a challenge or a negative situation or some sort of feedback in a way that's going to be received better is to start with acknowledging, and we'll get to this in a moment. It's actually a nice segue to that, but acknowledging the other point of view and just say, I understand why this might be something that you feel passionate about. I have some things that I'd love for you to listen to. You might change your mind afterwards, because I felt the same way before. If you put yourself in their shoes and even agree that they have something valid, or I agree with this, but I think we need to take a look at this part of it, it's better because there's some common ground. If there's not commonality between the two of you, then it's sort of hard to find like that Venn diagram. Where can we start? Otherwise, you're just kind of like, it's like two horns kind of going against each other, and you don't really want that. Let's talk about the dandelion next. I didn't really even get to this piece of it until I chose your picture. So there's some things that I'm getting kind of live, which is important. But when I think of a dandelion, a lot of times I think of the seed pod, right? Which is all these little kind of, they're like little helicopters, right? I'm sure as a kid, you took a dandelion seed pod and made a wish. So I didn't put this in here, but this is like super important. You want to be mindful of your dreams, your wishes, because this is a powerful time for you to do that. And also, this kind of symbolizes the two different seasons that we're in. So we're entering spring in the Northern Hemisphere, and then the Southern Hemisphere, they're entering fall. So even when fall comes, it's still a time to plant seeds. It's still a time for things to continue. So whether you're beginning or ending something, you should always have something else on the horizon, right? So work with the energies of spring and fall a little bit. Dandelions are really nutritious. Who would have thought as a kid? I've talked about this before. My grandfather knew, but that was because he was from Italy and used to cultivate and eat them. But when I was a kid, I just thought they were weeds. They're not. Now they're kind of, you'll see them in salad bars and health food places, and sometimes distilled into tea and things like that. But this is not all that they're good at, but the richest vitamins are A, C, and K. They have fiber and antioxidants, rather. And there's a lot of other smaller minerals that they contain as well. So this is a time to get healthier with your food intake. And so more greens, which is something I've been talking about. I am not a doctor, so you always want to check with your doctor before you make changes in your diet, of course. But it can't be bad to have a little bit more vegetables in your life, typically. The other thing that I looked at, and these things are, more studies need to happen, but I looked at it and I thought, well, these are things that we can focus on. Dandelion root, dandelion greens, etc., can be helpful purportedly with inflammation, blood sugar, blood pressure, liver health, and inflammation. But you might also want to be just looking at these things in your life. Inflammation. For some of us, we've been sitting too much and some of our joints are getting a little bit creaky, and it might be time to go to the doctor and look at that and start moving again. Find a way to do that without causing more joint pain. Blood sugar and blood pressure, of course, very important for you to take care of. Again, diets maybe haven't been ideal. Exercise hasn't been ideal during the pandemic. All of these things actually fit pretty well with maybe having a less clean living style. If you've been eating fast food, haven't been working out as much, all of these things can come in. And I saw that I put inflammation twice. So apparently I really wanted you to pay attention to that. So yes, take a look at blood pressure, blood sugar, and inflammation and liver health. I think just cleaning up your diet is going to be important to that. All right. When I think of a sunflower, I really look at not sunflower, but when I think of when I think of a dandelion, I think of look. It reminds me of the sun shining. So look for the positive, new opportunities. Sometimes if we take the cloudy, we actually miss an opportunity, or we cast a shadow of doubt on something that could be. So just like this brilliant sun, which is what it reminds me of sometimes if you look at the dandelion, I would say it's important to start to think of what's possible, doesn't it? To me, it reminds me of the sun. It's just really beautiful. It's interesting what we call weeds. I mean, I think dandelions are kind of pretty. So I said this before about thistle too. We just choose what we call a plant or flower and what we call a weed. They're all weeds. They all start as weeds, right? It's just natural and it's growing out there. So I think this gets a hard rap, and it's also very nutritious. It should be raised as a crop, perhaps, rather than a weed. Let me see what else here. When I'm thinking of this too, the word lion in it also brought to me the image of the strength card, right? Or for some of you, maybe there's even a Leo in your life that's going to be coming in. So either way, stand up for yourself. And for many of you, you might be dealing with issues of control, in which case I see you succeeding this time around if you haven't before. So it may be difficult to push through those sort of control issues, but it's worth it. And it's worth fighting for what's right and fighting for yourself. So I like that message. Now let's move into dream symbology. And everything else today came from dreams. I've had a lot of them for you, and I've been taking notes over the past few days so that I could share them with you. The first was water moving through a window. It felt like at one point there was maybe a leak, then another one I kind of just saw it like rushing through the window. I don't necessarily see this as a bad thing. I think for some of you, it could be a breakthrough, an incoming opportunity. And you may have such a rush of information that's coming through that you have no choice but to act upon it and do something with it, right? So a window is opening for you. In fact, it may be just pushed open for you and you might have to deal with it. So that's where the Knight of Swords energy is coming through. And it could be like Ace of Cups right in your face. You have to do something with it. And it could be an exciting piece of news too. Obviously, I have to also take some of these symbols at face value. So for those of you that are in an older home, might be renovating, or you're looking at renting or buying, really take a look at the windows, take a look at the roof. These are the two areas where I could see some leaking happening. So might be time to weatherproof, replace, or upgrade your window treatments or your roof, because that's what I was seeing. We're getting into the springtime here in the Northern Hemisphere. Again, fall in the Southern, there's rainy seasons associated with both. So it's a good time to make sure that there's no leaks happening in the house. Then I also saw a waiting period. This came up twice. This is the first time, but this is related to a house, which is why I'm still keeping it the same sort of color here. I think it could have to do with either escrow after waiting for all the legal documents to pass through approval. It could also be probate if you're waiting to inherit a house. So for those of you that might be looking for real estate, there's a waiting period. If you're looking even for an apartment, it could be a little bit of a waiting period. So I'm reading for April, so it could be April, May, June. Like June is looking good, June or July. I see things being sort of solidified and you should be where you want to be. So give it some time and don't panic. I think also you can't rush certain things. If it falls apart or if something else, there just may be a better opportunity, let's put it that way, if it doesn't happen exactly the way you want it to. My guides gave me a very specific phrase to give to you. I was seeing a translator, so this was symbolic, but maybe for some of you, if you work with a translator because you do business with another country and you don't speak the language, this could be specific, but I saw a translator speaking, and because in intuition, you can kind of hear both sides of it, I understood that they weren't translating correctly. So something may get lost in the translation, and that's what the guide said, something will get lost in translation. Go back to the source. So if you hear something, word of mouth or through another person, maybe it's important to validate the translation or validate the message and then go back to the source, not to the translator, not to the in-between person, and say, this is what I heard. Is that correct? Do I understand what you're saying correctly? Just validate it because there may be something lost. I actually got a percentage. I didn't write it in the cards, but it could be up to like 25% of what they're saying is just wrong or there's missing pieces. So take that as you will. For those of you that do business and maybe even pay for translations, maybe it's time to just get that validated with a native speaker to make sure that it's coming across. Because just thinking of like English, there are so many shades of meaning in different words and different ways that you phrase things that you can put together some words that look like they're the same, but it has a different tone. So something's lost there. The next thing was very, very odd, but it also has to do with like sending and receiving communication. And this one, it was kind of like one of those, cartoons that you would see as a kid where I'm thinking of one where they kind of trying to prop open their eyes. I can't remember what it was. I think it was like Tom and Jerry or something. But what I saw was someone trying to open up my eyes or pull them open. It was kind of weird, not something I really was enjoying looking or feeling in the meditation. But they wanted me to see more, basically, was what I got from this. And this cut both ways. So the first side of it is open your eyes and see it from another perspective. Someone is really keen on you seeing it their way. Maybe too keen on you, sort of trying to make you only see it their way, but try to go halfway and understand it. On the flip side, because I didn't find it a pleasant experience or vision, I would say you can't force your point of view on someone else. You can plant a seed or an idea or suggestion, and then let them sit with it for a while. Let them evaluate it. Let them digest it. You can't like force feed. And that also was kind of like the strength card, right? This could be the tug of war, because that's what I felt like. It was sort of force feeding. They were using my eyes instead of my mouth, but it's the same symbology of strength, where you see a woman with the lion opening the mouth, trying to control it, sometimes trying to speak for it. I hadn't really thought of strength ever like that, putting words in your mouth. So really interesting, actually. So don't let anyone speak for you. Don't try to speak for anyone else. Make sure that the words that are coming to you have been validated, that was actually correct, and that your go-between isn't sort of, it's like a game of telephone when you're a kid. If you ever played that, you would whisper something in someone's ear, and after it went through like 20 or 30 people, it would just come up completely wrong sometimes. So that was actually a fun game and a good lesson to kind of teach kids, is that you can't trust what you hear unless you go back to that first person. So a game of telephone, words that are being manipulated or twisted or spun, like a PR person might be trying to spin it in a certain way. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Very clear visuals for me on that one as well. All right. This was really interesting as well. Very vivid. It was the last thing that I saw today. We have a few more messages, but I wanted to put this one next. So I saw what looked like 2 attempts. I don't know what the attempts were, but it seems like it's going to take a couple of trials before you succeed at something. And then I saw you, it was almost like you were transformed into a mythical creature, like this half human, half tree thing, like you would see in The Lord of the Rings, or in my book. I have a creature as well, Aurelius. But I saw you grow really thick skin and grow as tall as a tree, and you were kind of, yeah, you were able to walk and everything, but there was this strength and flexibility that came through with it. So you're being asked to grow a thick skin. It might take 2 attempts to achieve I spelled the word dream wrong, so let me change the spelling on this, to achieve a dream, but it will happen. So release fear and surrender to that. And that says dream, even though I had to scribble it in. So to make something happen, it's going to take a couple of attempts, but I feel like you can get there. And then I saw you transforming into some sort of a hybrid entity, strong, flexible, and seeing things from a higher point of view, and waiting for other people to kind of catch up. So this is also a metaphor for ascension as well, right? So exciting stuff. And yeah, in The Lord of the Rings, since I'm a fan of that, the Ents took a while to make a decision, but when they decided, it was something that helped turn the war on one level. So the Battle of the Ents was kind of important, but I would say, you know, that Knight of Swords energy is telling you can't wait as long as the Ents did in that story. I think it was like Merry and Pippin that kind of got the Ents into making something happen. So you may be the catalyst that helps someone else act early, or you may just have to do it for yourself, right? This next piece was also something that I got this morning, and my guides were showing me. It was very weird. It was like a power grid, but I was seeing it almost like you would see like a wavelength, right? And then they showed me 2 different versions of it. One of them, if you didn't take care of yourself, like if you were burning the candles, a candle at both ends. And what happened was there was this big spike of energy, and then I saw all of the lights go off. So what they're telling me is that you will have to shut down after that. So it could be a burnout, it could be a breakdown, literally. It could also just be getting sick, like 10 of Swords, or that you're going to go out of commission for a little bit and you don't want to do that. Then they showed me what happened if you take care of yourself and you have this buffer. And what happens is you have a little bit of tension, but you come back from it, you bounce back from it. So the moment of the sort of peak, if you will, when this happened, it looked like a butterfly when I saw the buffer. When I didn't, it just went really high. And then, like I said, everything went out. So you have a chance to have like a nice breakthrough. You have to work hard, but you can't overdo it. Otherwise, it's kind of like a power outage, a brownout, something, just everything stops, blackout. So take care of yourself, manage your energy. And yeah, with proper rest, you're going to be fine, but you can't burn the candle at both ends. I'm just going to hold all of these up because it's kind of like one long message. Otherwise, you're going to have burnout. So Pacing is important. Choices are important. Boundaries are important. So if someone's trying to make you do too much, too fast, it's not going to work. You're going to need to just, take your time a little bit. And then I finally saw you sitting at a table. It's kind of like when you go to a store or a deli or whatever, and they're like saying now serving number. And then I also saw the number behind the table because it was kind of like there were waiters and waitresses. And you know how, well, maybe you don't. I used to be I was a waiter when I was in high school. So the tables all have numbers. So I saw the number 3 twice. I saw it on a ticket number and then I saw it on the table. So it feels to me like the wait is over, but it's going to be like 1 to 3 months. So again, we're going back to, for some of you, this could be waiting for the place to live, but it could also be a manifestation. So you're right on the precipice of manifestation. And I think you want to be patient and focus on basically a quarter of the year to allow for this manifestation to happen. Okay. Number 3, powerful, keeps coming up. 3, 3, 3. All right. So let's go ahead and move along to the Celtic Cross. At this point, I'm going to stack up all of these index cards. If you missed anything, don't worry. I review it again at the midpoint and I hold each card up to the camera so you'll have a chance to see it. And if you don't follow me, by the way, on social media, this is a good time to do it because I always post a sticky of this, or not a sticky, but like a screenshot of this on Instagram, on the community tab here on YouTube, and then also to my Facebook account. So great way to see the images if you want to. And you can go to my website if you need to find links to social media. It's pinned at the top, and you can just click on social media. Okay, let's go ahead now and move along to the Celtic Cross and see what messages are coming through for you today. And the way that I read this is usually this can be up to 6 weeks. It's not just right here and right now. So I encourage revisiting it later. Some of the things are in advance, but especially with the channel messages, some of the stuff's already happening. So let's just see what's coming through. Okay. Sun, rising moon, any placement, or also just if you want to be here, doesn't have to be your sign. That's how I read. We got strength right there. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay. Super exciting when there's a synchronicity. So there's our honeybee. Okay. Let's take a look. We also got the strength card, which I was picking up on. Okay. We have in your catalyst a reverse card, but we'll talk about that. It says trumpet. And I'm not sure if I can even say the last word there. Gentian, I think. Power and healing to get what you love first. To get what you love, you first have to be patient with what you have. So that patience of 1 to 3 months, I think, is coming through with this. Let's pull this card really close so you can see the beautiful imagery. We have a nice little butterfly showing the transformative energy that's coming through. And it says power and healing. To me, the bee that came through not only here in this symbol, but also it was sitting on my door. It was exactly like this bee, but his wings were folded back because he was sleeping or she was sleeping. This is the activation that's going to happen, because I do feel like you're going to wake up and start to make some great stuff happen. So heal yourself first, own your power, and then step into that. And again, even with the butterflies, I'm seeing a lot of pollination, a lot of abundance, a lot of opportunity that is coming through for you. I'm excited. This is a really cool reading for you, Pisces. I feel like you are on the precipice of some sort of big shift or big change in your life. So let's see what's in store. We have the Knight of Cups at the center here. And what I like, notice how the water's coming through the window. It feels like some of you might be at the point of receiving. This is your chance to start to receive something. So one of the things that's important to be able to receive love or energy or opportunity is to basically think to yourself, I am worthy. And I know that it's easier said than done sometimes, but at this point, I really want you to focus on feeling that you are lovable, that you are a great addition to anyone's life, and that you have to sort of see your self-worth first. Self-worth, like I said yesterday, or not yesterday, the day before, is net worth. They're both kind of related. So self-worth equals net worth, but it also attracts love, and it affects the types of relationships that you pull into your life. So I would say for you, are you ready to receive? Because that's coming through. And I told you, I didn't think that the water was necessarily bad. So Knight of Cups, love, friendship, creative inspiration. If you're single and happy, or in a relationship, or focusing more on personal development, then this is just the universe. It's kind of like it's throwing an ace at you, right? Which is what I said before. I felt like there was a big Ace of Cups in your face. So we're seeing it with this card. So are you ready to deal with this gift from the universe? Or are you going to, we have the Four of Pentacles, but a lot of times with fours, whether it's Four of Cups or Four of Pentacles, you can miss something. So don't miss this opportunity. Okay, open to receiving, embrace the opportunity, go for it. This window won't always stay open. And I think some really cool stuff could happen for you. All right, this is your opening, and it's right smack dab at the center here. This kind of reminds me of a chess board. And so there's some strategy that's kind of, I feel like you've aligned and opened up this synchronicity. So again, it's your move. That's what I'm getting when I see this. So it's your move now if you want to do something with it or not, right? The next one is the Knight of Pentacles. So we have two knights. Love these. So this is creativity and emotional sort of opening. Sometimes it could even be sensitivity, but this is opportunity. If you can put your passion along with your practical self, you have something really powerful. So combining work and passion for some of you is going to be a reality, something that you've been working to create. The other thing is this could be love. And I like that it's two knights. I read non-gendered when I look at court cards. I just look at power, and I look at position, and I look at if it's upright or reverse. So if I get two knights, I see two people that are on the same page. So what you're calling in is someone who's a little bit more grounded, a little bit more practical, maybe more focused on personal development. And what I see with you is that this could be a great grounding force for you too. So there's a nice complement of energy that's coming through for new relationships. As an aspect of yourself, if you're single and happy, retired, or not focusing on relationships, this is saying, all right, in order to make this happen, you have to ground it. You have to commit to it. And I made a little, this could be dandelions in the field. It could be sunflowers, it could be dandelions, because it looks like the two. And I kind of, in my head, was mixing them up a little bit. So I feel like your wish is the universe's command on some level. So make a wish, just like I was showing you the seed pod for the dandelion. You have to want it, say it, and kind of like feel that this can happen, and then it can. Before I do a reading, I ask for protection and assistance, and I allow myself to receive information, but you have to ask for help, and you have to set boundaries, and you have to set expectations so the universe knows how to show up for you. Otherwise, it's just guessing. And it reminds me of kind of like back when television wasn't something that you could stream and you just had to kind of look at the TV guide and see what was going on. It was hit or miss, right? Someone else was deciding what you wanted. Now you can go to any number of streaming services and program your own viewing habits and your own sort of playlist. Same thing with music. Used to be MTV, right? Now it's Spotify and Apple Music and any number of other things, YouTube, etc. So you are the boss, even if these are night cards. So set the expectation and the request in motion. Send it out like a little seed pod, right? Okay. We've got the lovers here in the deep past. Really good month for energy and for... Can we just pause for a second and look at all of the... I don't read love and relationships, but when they happen, I will talk about them. We have Knight of Cups, Lovers, Ten of Cups, and Ace of Cups. Very auspicious for all levels of relationships. Whether you're looking for them or not, I see that you can really see growth, healing, and recovery in that part of your life. And I say recovery because I feel like for some of you that's needed. We have the Five of Pentacles here, which can be things from the past, usually with parents or siblings, sometimes teachers. So if there's an old soul wound from when you were a kid, this is the time to fix it. This is the time to get past that so that good abundance can come through. All right, so lovers in reverse. You do a really good job showing up for others, giving them the support that they need. Are you ready to receive? Because the reversal of this is basically saying it's here, it's coming. This time it's higher. Literally, we see it coming from a higher place. So in the past, it feels like you had to do more of the work. You'd be the one texting or phoning or making plans or making things happen. This time, allow the other person to meet you, and there should be reciprocity for those of you looking for love. In existing relationships, it's about leaning on the partner, asking them for what you want. And in more work situations, this would be about leveraging the hard work that you've done to create a network. And again, saying you've helped someone before, this is their turn to sort of like step in. It's about evening the scales a little bit. So really cool stuff. Ten of Cups, upright, recent past. I really can't find a negative with the Ten of Cups in the upright position. It feels like people are ready and willing to connect with you. So if I had to kind of posit a question to some of you, it would be, are you ready to allow for that to happen? We've been in a very hermited state because it's been required, and we still have to be until everything's in a good space, but it feels like movement can start to happen even if it's virtually. So if someone's knocking on the door or trying to send you a message or trying to get through to you, it feels like some of these might be worth exploring. There may be even something from December that you forgot about, because we see the Christmas tree, the Tannenbaum in the background. So there might be something that you want to look back on in your emails or your messages or your postal mail and just see if you missed something. You might be surprised. I recently had an experience like that where I thought, how did that get lost? That was a message I wanted to reply to. So take a look at that. There could be an offering of love. There could be a new group of friends that are coming through. You could also just be putting yourself out there a little bit more. If you are going to launch a project, because the Knight of Pentacles can be deciding to take something out and share it with the world, that's celebration. That's saying, yeah, you did a good job. We're ready to receive that. I like it. I really feel like that's a very positive card for you. Now, if we look at something, again, that you might need to work on, I've talked a lot over the past year or so about the difference between biological and chosen family. So this is another instance where that's coming through. So this is a chance to make new and better bonds than you might have received in the past. It's already happening. Don't deny it. Don't second guess yourself. If people are coming through, they see value in yourself that you may not see. And just maybe, as I was kind of looking back into my spiritual vision, someone else wants you to see yourself through their eyes. And it's almost like they're trying to force you to wake up. The bee was asleep on my door. I was seeing spirit trying to open the eyes, and I see something really positive here, and then I see the reverse of it here. So what I would say is, until proven otherwise, allow for some of this positive shift to happen in your life. And if people are starting to celebrate you and embrace you or want to be around you, it's always been there. But maybe now you were finally ready to receive it. The 2 times sort of thing, or even 3 months, maybe it could be 3rd time's a charm for some of you. If I don't even like to use the word failed. If you didn't launch or succeed or receive the sort of energy that you wanted the first time, it's possibly because you weren't approaching it with a open heart, with the years of experience that you needed, et cetera, et cetera. This time we've got that ace. You got a couple of aces coming through. I mean, it's symbolically being thrown through the window here, and now it's here. So if you're ready to receive it, it's coming. It's celebratory. We see a lot of champagne in all these glasses, but lots of beautiful energy coming through. So I feel like this is a good time for you. This is a good month for you. creativity, inspiration, love, expansion, and an opportunity for some of you, maybe new work, maybe new exploration. So the only thing that could get in the way is your own emotions. So just don't get in your headspace too much. If you're looking for love, it's a good time for that. It's a good time to even get back into repairing a sort of old relationship too. So whether you're in a relationship or looking for a relationship, I don't feel like you can avoid people this month. So it's the reverse of the hermit. Like I say, the hermit carries the star. So feels like this is the awakening and the understanding of that, and you have to come out of the hermit shell. Here's the thing, the only thing, and it's in the near future, that could hold you back, because most of your cards are really good. So this is your area of opportunity. We have 5 of Pentacles. So 5 of Pentacles can be a feeling that others have left you behind or left you out of something. It could be a feeling that people don't understand you, that you're always the last one to know. It could be a feeling that someone in your life, a parent, a teacher, sometimes a brother, sister, or if it's your partner, I could even kind of go there. But it's someone that you really needed and they just didn't come through the way they need to. You know, we have the Strength card, and I see a symbol for like the Virgin Mary here in the background. So I get a lot of maternal energy here. So this is like mother and child or father and child. So for some of you, that could also be the parental disappointment maybe that you're dealing with on some levels, or missing them. Maybe they've passed and you feel like you're let go, or not let go, that you're being sort of, you're just alone. It's sort of like you're isolated. So if that's happening, I think the important thing for you to realize is there's so much love that wants to come into your life right now. You have to look in other places. That's why Spirit was trying to pry open your eyes so you could see it. All I see is love at the center. Knight of Cups, 10 of Cups, Ace of Cups. For those of you that have been following me for 6 or 7 years, I don't say things like that often. So if there's a lot of love and there's a lot of energy, you should do something with it. You got to love yourself first too. Of course, that's where it all starts. Love yourself, open yourself to be loved and to be appreciated and to receive the abundance in all the highest forms, okay? Let me talk a little bit, one more thing about 5 of Pentacles. For those of you that are independent business people, entrepreneurs, freelancers, permalancers, whatever we want to call this sort of in-between sort of hiring, I would say really fight for good and equal pay and benefits. 5 of Pentacles is an underestimation and an undervaluing of skills. Sometimes it happens because you're afraid to ask. Sometimes it's because the person that is hiring you doesn't pay enough. It's always worth asking for more if you need it. And if you're doing a good job, you've earned it. We can look at it later to see what will happen with the abundance, but don't undervalue. And if you have goods and services that you offer, don't undervalue. Make sure that you are at the very least breaking even and turning a small profit so that you can reinvest in the business and continue to grow. Don't be afraid of abundance. Do something good with the abundance. Hire more people, which is helping. Give back to the world, which helps. Prepare for your own retirement. Like, just invest the money in yourself and in others. But don't ask for too little and don't accept too little. I'm a big fan of seva, which is just service for the sake of service. But don't run yourself ragged, because that was one of the cosmic lessons this month, was you had to rest. And I think the other thing is you have to balance your resources. The way to solve the 5 of Pentacles is the 6 of Pentacles. And what is the 6 of Pentacles? A scale and being very discerning. You, not you. This, not that. Now, and then this is going to be later. Choices. So let's upgrade this to the 6 of Pentacles, which is more than enough and not outrageous in any way or shape or form. So just bump it up 1 in the minor arcana and you're going to be okay. The reason I'm saying this is we also have the 4 of Pentacles here, which can be a feeling of, oh my God, I'm not going to receive things ever again. It's sometimes feeling like I'm just going to hold on because it's not going to come. So you can't have that feeling of a lack of abundance, right? So I want you to feel like you are in the energy of opening, of awakening, and we can't have the mentality that there's going to be less than, because it actually starts to attract or reinforce those energies of less than. So scarcity is what I was trying to think of. Thank you, guides. A scarcity mentality. The way that this is built here kind of reminds me a little bit more of what Thoth would look at, like the Thoth deck. It's more foundational. And I like that this little girl is rebuilding. So she's making these little sand castles, and it looks like the foundation for something new and something better. So ask for more and rebuild. This can also be the maintenance that I was talking about in the house. Focus on the heart. I mentioned with the dandelion that heart, like blood pressure and blood sugar are important. So be kind to your heart. Also, the heart is everything this month for you. And it is your water, so this makes sense, right? But we've got Knight of Cups, Lovers, 10 of Cups, Ace of Cups. This is also a potential block because normally the coin is right over the heart the person is holding in. So if you've got a partner that's ready and willing and equal in energy, ready to receive, open yourself up a little bit because it feels like they want to see what's there. They want to understand what's there. Environmentally, we have the 6 of Swords. So this makes a lot of sense in the pandemic. I think for some of us, this is what we do every day. What you're doing right now here, just connecting. 6 of Swords and 10 of Wands can be telecommuting, teleworking, telepresence, and virtual presences like this. But for some of you, you could be thinking about the future. Maybe this is a year from now, maybe it's a couple years from now, maybe it's 6 months from now, who knows? We're still kind of dealing with a lot of the stuff around travel. But I think it's good to make plans for the future, always, because that also brings in possibilities. So this year is when things are breaking through. It's the cleanup, it's the mop-up year, 2021. There'll be some great months, there'll be some other months where we have to fix things. So just consider this like maintenance and preparation. 2022, 2023, 2024, those are magical years where a lot's going to happen. But this year, we have to not lose hope. And in this case, it's about stretching a little bit, dreaming a little bit, planning a little bit. And don't lose touch with the people that you cared about from the past. They're all still there. They all still miss you, even if you can't see them yet. So this is about reaching out, doing stuff just like this. The only other thing that I see here is, are you distancing yourself from others? This can be emotional distancing too. It's not just spatial. So are you feeling like you're withdrawn or people around you withdrawing a little bit? If that's the case, do your best to reconnect. And if they won't receive, that's okay, because if I can lift the card up here, the 10 of Cups is saying there's other people that are ready and willing and interested in coming through for you. So pay attention to this, and if someone's ready to move on, maybe it's time. When we look at your career, this could also be a decision to move. Some of us have, in the pandemic, realized that where we're living doesn't make sense anymore. So this could be relocating and teleworking. It's a combination of what I said. So there might be a move on the horizon for you also. Remember, up to 3 months to find the right place, so don't rush. What a lovely card to come in hopes, fears, and opportunities. There's nothing to fear with the Wheel of Fortune, although some people may fear success and what that means. What I see here is, and look at how nice and aquatic this is. Might as well just have 2 fish on this card. I really feel like this is Piscean. So you're in a cycle, right? You're coming up for air. Some of you are going back down and digging and doing some of the work, but there's a really nice cycle that you're starting. And the Wheel of Fortune shows me that if you were stagnating or if you were sleeping like the honeybee on my door was this morning, it's time to awaken. It's time for some good stuff to happen in your life. And it's time to turn the wheel to make the energy start to move. We take an active role on this every day. It's like a captain of a ship. You've got to start to move it in the right direction. So I think there's some exciting energy. These cards don't want to stay in my hands. There's some exciting energy that wants to come through for you today. And I hope that, and this month ahead, and I hope that you're ready and willing to embrace it. Notice how the, almost looks like a nice little sunflower here at the center too. So even though I didn't bring that up, I'm getting sunflower as well. When I saw the dandelion, it reminds me of that. So it could either be a dandelion or a sunflower at the center. So there's a nice, actually, it's cool if it is a dandelion because the seed pod is kind of like what's there. You're like a cycle within a cycle is what I see if we kind of were to take the dandelion metaphor, because it's almost like a supernova of a star. Like when our star will eventually, or not a supernova, like when you go into a red giant phase and then the center of it just kind of, it's basically all of the the glue that holds it together goes away and it expands, and then eventually you just have this white dwarf at the center. So what I see is that you have an end and a beginning, and here we go. It's summarized by these two here. So it really is end and beginning. So don't be afraid to allow one thing to go, because you can use the energy of that. Supernova, you can definitely use that to seed creation. And even in the case of like a red dwarf or whatever, or a white dwarf that happens afterwards, something else can come through and use that energy once more. So I just feel like you're somewhere in the cycle of endings and beginnings, and keep working, keep moving, reuse, recycle, don't stop. Let's go now to your outcome card here, which is strength reversed. Letting go. Don't try to control someone else, and don't let them speak for you. I like how in this strength card, she's eye to eye with the tiger or lion. So this is your chance to get the even grounding with the other person. And if they're not willing to do that, that's also a chance for you to move on. So for those of you that might have played the role of supporter, maybe you are like an administrative assistant, a personal assistant, something like that. There's a step up opportunity for you where you can go even bigger, even brighter. And it's interesting to see if the place where you're at or the person that you're with is going to support the expansion of yourself, of your personality, of your mind, energy. And that's what I see here. Don't let someone hold you back. Don't let someone put words in your mouth. Don't let a mother figure or teacher figure in your life try to tell you what to do. You've earned this opportunity to be yourself, right? Okay. Let's move along to the expanded forecast. In the expanded forecast, we have divine alchemy in your health card. It says, Holy Amethyst, divine alchemy, move beyond current challenges and focus on what you desire. So that crystal right there is amethyst. It's a really good protection crystal. And if that's something you want to work with, you can work with it. Focus on feeling like at this point you can transmute. I said that before. If someone's challenging in your life, you can just think to yourself, I'm not going to play the tug of war. We're not going to do that game anymore. This is a chance for us to overcome that. Let me see if I have a smaller amethyst. If not, I'll bring it up to the camera for a second so you can see it. All right. So we have this. This is a beautiful, if you don't have crystals and you're looking for something to get started with, amethyst is a really nice crystal to begin with. I got this piece when I was in Sedona. It's a good place to get them as well, a little less expensive than other areas. But the reason I keep this here is because of the spiritual work that I do. So this absorbs energy, it protects you, easy to clean, easy to maintain. I would highly recommend a good amethyst stone if you don't have one. And it's also something that you could wear around your throat. You can wear it anywhere on your body if you want to. It's not the color of the throat chakra, but one of the reasons that it's good to put here, you could put onyx here too, is because people see it when you're speaking. And if they have any sort of negative energy or any thought energy, they're going to look at the crystal. It's not going to get diffused into you as much. This will protect you. So you could wear it as earrings. You could wear it on a necklace. You can wear it as a bracelet. Anywhere, actually. It's a good stone for jewelry, and it won't cost a lot because it's only semi-precious. So get an amethyst and maybe meditate with it. You can also get it as a polished stone if you want to carry it in your pocket or something like that too. So it's coming through here for health, and it's good for protection. You can have that in any room. You can't go wrong with this. Like a quartz crystal, amethyst is pretty much fail-safe, and it's a great stone to have. So that's what we're getting there. And notice what the focus is on, the heart, right? So this corresponds with a lot of what we were talking about earlier with the dandelion, focusing on opening the heart, which we have with the 4 pentacles, opening on receiving, and then things like blood sugar, blood pressure, happiness in general, all of that. That's what I see with this. Let's look at some additional health messages here. If you've been not taking care of your physical health as much as you should, this is about focusing on the body itself, not just meditation, gently working out the body. So whether that to you means riding a stationary bike or riding an actual bike, walking, hiking, swimming, yoga, which is really great for strength training. All of these are great. Obviously, what your body wants to do, that's what you're going to have to follow. So tune in and talk to your doctor before you make any major changes. But that's the main message here, is to focus on strengthening your physical body, because it is the channel through which everything flows. And if the physical body is weak, particularly with that moment that I saw, which could happen anytime in the next 1 to 3 months, you want to be physically strong so that you can push through that. And you want to be taking care of yourself in both diet, exercise, and sleep. Those things have to come together, like the holy trinity there of health and well-being, right? I want you to focus on the lower extremities as well. The Five of Pentacles have to do with the legs and joints and everything below the waist, basically. So typically knees, ankles, foot, and then circulation in the legs as well. For those of us that sit too much, you can still be in your 20s, 30s, or 40s and develop a blood clot or an issue because you're not moving your legs enough. So just focus on movement in the lower extremities. You'll be grateful that you did it, especially when you get older. So the work that you do now helps you when you get older. And if you are older, then what you want to focus on is balance and not getting distracted. Five of Pentacles in the Fool card, there's always a possibility to trip on something on the ground. So be aware when you're moving in general. Okay, those are the main messages, because everything else is really, really positive here, I have to say. The Four of Pentacles is still about the heart space, but aside from that, everything else here is really positive. I think when you make a decision to do something, you see movement and positive outcome as well. Okay. Next, we're going to move from health to wealth and opening to your spiritual source, finding sanctuary. So we see this sort of castle turret in the sky, and the fog that's kind of coming away from that. For a short amount of time, I spent some time in San Francisco, and this reminds me of the Bay Area, where you could be like 2 or 3 in the afternoon and you would just see these billowing cloud banks come in or fog coming in. So one thing that I see with wealth is there's more than meets the eye. So going back to my time in the Bay Area, I would say when the fog cleared, all of a sudden you would see the city from a different perspective. So I think for some of you, there's this chance right now to, there's a revelation. So the card was reversed. So it's just kind of like opening up and clearing the mental fog, kind of like the bee that was sleepy and hanging to my door until the sun warmed it up. Or for some of you, you were afraid or unwilling to see what was coming through. But I see the fog lifting. And I think a lot of us have felt like we've been in the fog for a year, right? So this is about being able to get out of that. Opening to your spiritual source. All right, so there is a sense of surrender that's necessary for growth. And the other thing that I saw in the meditation when I saw that ant, or the tree human hybrid creature, was the guide said, let go. I let go, and then I just felt like everything grow in me. It was like my hands became vines, that center, I just kind of started growing. And then I looked down and I was this ant. So for you, I would intuit that the next piece is just to release trying to control or hold on to something. This is very clingy. So release. This can be very clingy. So if someone in your life is holding on, or if you're holding on too much to something, not necessarily even someone, release is paramount to growth and development. So let it go, release it, see what happens. I feel like good things will come in its stead, especially with the Wheel of Fortune. We also see an interesting, I should say, development here. So when I look at the soul, undervaluing, underestimation, a fear of abundance, or a feeling that there's going to be less than. When I look at what's actually happening, I just see that it's undervalued. When I see what's possible, I see a lot of growth, a lot of value. So you need to go through and reconfigure your programming to see that there's going to be more than expected. A good way to do this is to wake up in the morning and expect something amazing to happen. Today's going to be great. I don't know why, but I can't wait to find out. That's how you start the day. Not like, oh, it's Thursday. Why isn't it Friday? No, it's Thursday, and it's going to be a fantastic Thursday. So really kind of push out, make it the best day possible. Never wish away the week, never wish away your life. Always make a wish for something positive, or look forward to something cool happening and expect that maybe today is that turnstile where everything starts to go into the right direction. I think you should really lean on friends and connections here, because we have the Lovers, we have the 10 of Cups, and we have the Ace of Cups. To me, that's people, people, people. And word of mouth will be really important for you, not only maybe advancing business, but maybe finding something. So there's a lot of community around you that wants to help. Okay, good. So we looked at health and wealth. Let's look at love next. It says drop into your heart. I like this too. This is also about releasing. And are you getting a common theme? I am. It's heart all the way through for you, Pisces. Heart, heart, heart. I mean, literally, we see it in the Divine Alchemist card. We have the Ace of Cups, and we have the Knight of Cups here as well. So there's heart everywhere. And of course, the Four of Pentacles, which covers the heart normally. So I don't know a way that I could get the heart coming through more than it is for you. So what's dropping but falling, right? So for some of you, it's falling in love. For some of you, it's loving yourself. For some of you, it's just letting things go. You know, I didn't even look at the Six of Swords in this way, but this, for some of you, there could be someone that's leaving, okay? This can be gentle. If someone in your life is passing on, this would be sort of that energy. It's knowing that it's going to happen before it happens and planning for it, but it's still hard when that person goes. For a breakup or a relationship that kind of unravels, same sort of energy with this one, where you are knowing that it's happened, but it doesn't necessarily make it any easier as it happens. So just be kind with yourself and know that it's a cycle and it will get better. And you may be at this place right now, but you're going to be here soon. Okay. So you have to kind of go into the mermaid before you can become the angel. That's what I'm saying with this particular thing. So do the work, release a little bit, focus on the emotional part of you, and good things will start to come about. I like that we see the color green and we also have the rose color. Both are good for the heart space. Let me see here. I do have rose quartz. It doesn't necessarily come clearly through as rose on the camera because it's close to flesh tone, but here, maybe if I put it against the black shirt that I have. Rose quartz is another great thing that you can work with this month. And anything green colored, I think I have fluorite. I believe that this is what this is, but this is another great kind of crystal that you can use for working with the heart space. Anything green is good too. So feel free to meditate with those colored crystals if you want to do that. And I think even this particular stone has a little bit, this is more like a peacock, but anything that you have that has some green in it will be helpful. And green or pink. When you're working with difficult people in your life, someone that you have a difficult conversation with, pink is really good. It mutes the energy around them. You can imagine yourself in green and you can imagine them in a sort of pink fog so that they are constantly surrounded by love and kindness and a light sort of energy. Can you find love this month? Heck yeah. We have the Ace of Cups here in the crowning position. I see two evenly met energies here in the center. And I see a nice developmental cycle here. There could be a distance factor. You might have met someone that's not in the same city, or there could be a sort of feeling of how are we going to bridge the gap between us. I think there's some self-confidence issues that this particular partnership brings up. And I also see the replaying of some control stuff. So I think the important thing here is to make sure that you're on the same playing field and don't get sort of overwhelmed and don't have the tug of war. If you are single and happy, then like I said, lean on your network to develop your business. If you're retired and wondering how this relates to you, I feel like you might be wanting to give back and make a difference. There's children associated with Five of Pentacles, so you might even want to be helping children that are underprivileged, that don't have enough. This would be the card of anyone who is orphaned or who is a runaway or who is abused. It's underprivileged children. So if that's something that you want to do, that's part of your life purpose. That's helping those types of kids and adults, because adults are just children who grew up. So you can also help adults who have suffered with that feeling of isolation. Okay. Finally, when we go into your destiny, which is a mutable thing here, this is really just trajectory. We have the summer card here with a beautiful honeybee right on the center, and we see the honey underneath it. And it says bask in joy and light. Joy is so important, and especially for a water sign, because you have to be able to feel it, to do it, to breathe energy into it for it to happen. So I really want you to start to have some fun. This is about moving. and continuing to sort of keep things going, because this Wheel of Fortune, if it stops, nothing happens. So all you have to do to succeed is to keep moving every day. Keep on moving, dust yourself off, fly again, and keep doing what you're doing, right? And potency here with this too. So a little bit goes a long way. And I feel like you have the capacity with your energy and your time, realize that sometimes less is more. So, you know, back in the 80s, it was like no pain, no gain, and it was more is more. We're in a different sort of era now. It's several decades later. And I think we realize now that it's all about that, the quality of the moment and putting your 100% into now, but not trying to sort of like spread yourself too thin. So deciding where to put your energy and your power is going to be really important. But you are Queen Bee. So it might as well be the Empress. That's what I get with the honeybee here, okay? So do something good with it, even though she's not a queen. To me, this is Queen Bee. All right, let's go ahead now and quickly review, and then we're gonna go a little bit deeper. The one challenge for you this month, Pisces, seems to be revolving around money and worth, and possibly some relationships that affected your ability to feel that sort of sense of self-worth. So that's the first thing that I want to focus on when we go into the soul path. We'll go beyond that, but that's the first one. And then I'll look at just relationships as well. All right. So let's take a look here at what I talked about earlier. If you just joined, perfect timing. If you were here all along, stick around because more to come. And also I usually get additional insights as I look at this. So you had two symbols that came to me today in your spirit totem. We have the dandelion and the honeybee. We'll talk about the bee first. When I was walking my puppy this morning, there was a sleeping bee on my door. When I turned the key, I was like, oh, hey there. And what I realized that little bee was telling me was that there was a period of activation that's going to happen for all of us, me included, because I saw the bee for myself, but it's also for you. So be ready for this activation and this awakening. Like the Knight of Swords, we got a couple of other knights here. We've got Knight of Cups and Pentacles, but I saw the knight energy. There's going to be quick movement, and the bee itself is just saying, keep on moving. That's the most important thing. You're going to have to think on your feet. You may not have as much time to evaluate or decide as you'd like, but it's going to be more than enough. The bee is a powerful, nurturing creature that symbolizes fertility and abundance. Amen to that. And we've got the abundance card here with the Wheel of Fortune. Avoid any sort of verbal barbs. It is not worth it. And that sting is going to cause more pain than it's worth. Because just like a honeybee can only sting once, or it ends up perishing, we end up poisoning someone else when we are, saying those verbal barbs. So ignore that if you can, or walk away from it. I think the important thing for you is to try to take your power back. Be the queen bee this month. Do something that makes you happy, and make something happen this month as well. The dandelions came through as a reminder for health and nutrition more than anything. Some of you may have some deficiencies. You can talk to your doctor or your nutritionist for more information, but the research I did showed that the dandelions are rich in a lot of things, but especially A, C, and K vitamins, fiber and antioxidants as well. A lot of smaller minerals here that I didn't have space to list out, but let's say they're nutritious. Even though I wrote this twice, we'll just focus on it once. Basically, inflammation, blood pressure, blood sugar, and also liver health. Detoxification, basically. The inflammation also comes through a little bit with the 5 of Pentacles here, so be careful of that. Maintain a sunny outlook. And if we go to, which card was it? This one, the Knight of Pentacles. All that's around him is sunflowers, right? So even though dandelions, there's kind of like an overlap between the two. So keep that sunny outlook. Look for the positive and cultivate new opportunities rather than accentuating the negative. It's not going to help. It's easy to do sometimes, but not the best thing to do. Strength card, stand up and overcome control issues. You can and will succeed. And we got the strength card right here, and it's actually in your outcome. And that's what it's telling me too, is that you can succeed this time. And we've got the Queen Bee here saying you can do this, okay? I saw water moving through a window. New opportunities are incoming. Here's the water coming through the window. So there you go with that. You may feel a creative rush of information that you need to act upon. That's why we got a Knight of Pentacles on top of that, grounding that energy, doing something with it. Could be preventative maintenance in your house, makes sense. I talked about weatherproofing it. So we have a bad weather or inclement weather card here. So that makes sense as well. I saw a period of waiting up to 3 months for looking for that house for some of you, or a new place to live or a new place to work. Could be escrow or probate that's involved. It could just be timing. So be patient. Something could get lost in the translation. That's also the strength card. Make sure that you go back to the original source and validate. Open your eyes and see it from another person's perspective, but you can't force them. That's also the strength card. Like this one, try to meet eye to eye. See one another as equals. Yeah, that's it. Just plant an idea and let them digest it a little bit. You're being asked to grow a thick skin. It might take a couple of attempts to achieve something that you want to do. However, this time it will happen. You have to release and surrender to it. And that's actually what we got here, to just drop into your heart. Allow for your heart to lead the way. I saw your body transform into this sort of like Ent type energy, human tree hybrid, but it was a combination of strength and flexibility. I keep hitting on strength, 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 so I'm not surprised it came through. Manage your energy. I saw a few spikes this month. You can't burn the candle at both ends. If you do, there's going to be something like a burnout that happens. So with rest, it's possible. Without rest, you're going to have some sort of an issue that you don't want to deal with. Number 3 kept coming through. I heard the wait is over. I think you're 1 to 3 months from being able to manifest something wonderful in your life. So keep on keeping on. We have this beautiful trumpet flower here showing power and healing. To get to what you love, you have to be patient with what you have. So gratitude is part of this that I didn't pick up on before. And then transformation is going to be a piece of this too. So changes are happening. Be grateful for the changes. I still see a lot of fertility symbolized by this as well, because this little butterfly is going to go in there and pollinate in the same way that we would see with the bee. So really cool. And then I almost gasped when I saw the Knight of Cups, because it's exactly kind of what I was seeing. I saw just water coming through, but I like the cup. That's what I said it was like an Ace of Cups, and that's what we have here. It feels strategic. It feels like this is an aligned opportunity for you. I'm looking at the chessboard that he's on. So this knight is ready to move on to the next phase and allow for something bigger and brighter to come through. Grounding is going to be an essential piece of this. So this Knight of Pentacles is coming through to take the creative force from this and bring some sense of grounding and purpose, and like putting some sort of a line in the sand. You also need to take something that you love and water it. And this is seeing it grow, basically. So keep nurturing whatever it is you're trying to do. The Lovers. Be open to give and receive love. And in this particular deck, it's kind of like the green man and green woman. So I see a lot of growth coming through. And yeah, nothing really bad with this, except that you should be more on the receiving end. It should be something where you're able to be held up, to be supported as well. You don't have to always do all of that. And we have the 10 of Cups here. So open up to, again, receive and welcome people in. It feels like there is a celebration on the horizon for you. So I hope that you're ready and willing to allow for that to happen. If you're looking for love, I like this. This is someone who is ready to settle down. This is an offering. The only thing that could hold you back is your fear that someone will hurt you again, or that you're not enough. And these two cards are kind of in that same energy. We need to go 4, 5, all the way to 6. I want you to get to balance and saying no, and pushing back a little bit, just making some more discerning choices. Ask for more in general too when it comes to work, and make sure that people do their part. You don't have to hold up the weight of the world here. Focus on healing relationships with parents, or if you have a child, with your children, or can be a blood relative like a brother. It's usually very close, and it's usually in the nuclear family. If you were adopted or orphaned, or feel like you're kind of out there and people don't get you, this is about finding the family that wants to find you. I mean, it feels like there's a chosen family on the horizon. 4 Pentacles, open up your heart. Let what wants to come in, come in. 6 of Swords, moving on. Overall, moving on from maybe a toxic relationship, moving on from a toxic pattern, moving on towards abundance, moving on towards wealth. We see wealth and opportunity here. We also see that there's no more need to sort of control. Don't let others put words in your mouth. Don't try to put words in others. Don't try to force someone to see something in a certain way. All you can do is present something and then allow for them to react and decide. Free will is a big part of all of this. The throat and the heart were 2 things that I'm focusing on with this holy amethyst and divine alchemy card. Words are alchemic. I missed that the first time, but I'm getting it this time. Infuse love into your words if you truly want to be powerful, if you truly want to feel that alchemy, right? Also with health, what we're seeing here is to focus on the legs and the circulation, blood pressure, blood sugar, all of that, and physical strength building as well. In career and in wealth and in life purpose, because this can be all of that, we have finding sanctuary. But it's kind of contradictory because we have sanctuary and then we have opening to your spiritual source. So there's kind of like, I feel like many of you are sort of going between hermit and star energy with this. So it is time to kind of step out. But one thing that is important with spiritual development, by the way, is to set parameters and call in the protection so that you can surrender. So that's one thing that you can do. I have a spiritual or an intuitive development series. You can check that out on my YouTube channel if you want to, or on my website, and get some more information on that. The other thing with wealth is just equaling out. We're going to look at this in a minute. So we're going to figure out how you can get more abundance. Some of it's in your head because it feels like the Wheel of Fortune is knocking on the door. In relationships, love is surrender on some levels, and the divine is surrender. Surrender to your true passion, to your heart. Maybe allow someone to come in, and just, you're smarter this time around. You're stronger. Your third eye is open. So you'll be able to see the signs. You can't close off the heart. If you do, you perish a little bit. So we really need to push through the heart space, particularly you Pisces. The heart has to be open. No matter what, there is moving on and moving up. If you do step away from a person or a relationship or a place that you're working, Six of Swords, Wheel of Fortune, and Strength, it tells me it's for the right reason. And if you can overcome this feeling that I'm not enough, then this relationship that might be new will also thrive because your top cards are very positive. Queen Bee, baby, that's what we're getting here with the summer card. I see activation, I see pollination, I see abundance, I see leadership. I don't see one bad thing with this card, okay? And for many of us, since I'm a reader in the Northern Hemisphere, we're looking at the next 3 months here because that would be leading us into summer. 3 to 6 months, you're in a good cycle here for the next half year. Even if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it doesn't matter, because that was a symbol that came through for me up here. So good 6-month period that's approaching. Let's go into the soul path now. I'd like to look at the abundance stuff because I'm curious why we have so many really amazing cards of power and fertility and abundance, and then I get the 5 and the 4 of Pentacles. So let's ask, what can you do to open or break through any limits surrounding abundance? The Chariot, back to the control issues. But this Chariot's really interesting because we see that there's a directional sort of energy with them. It reminds me a lot of Sagittarius. So there may be a Sagittarius in your life that is the source of the power struggle. But either way, when I'm looking at the Archer, what I'm seeing is the Archer knows exactly what they're doing and there's purpose. So at this point, there's no time for just spinning your wheels because the Chariot upside down is kind of like a car that's gone upside down and the wheels are just spinning, but it's not going anywhere. So I feel like pick a direction. Notice here how we kind of see a combination of the energy of the strength cards. It's almost like the woman and the lion are one, and we have this sort of mythical creature here leading the way. So you have all that it takes to take yourself forward. You've integrated all the lessons that you need, and you're going to pick a direction and stick with it, even if that means doing it yourself, because you could be all of this. You could be the creature leading the chariot, you could be the archer, and you could also be the arrow and the bow as well. So you have everything that it takes. Integration and ownership. Even if you have to do this on your own, you can do this on your own, okay? So move, keep moving. That's the message here. Wheel of Fortune, the bee, the chariot, and the Six of Swords. Movement, movement, movement. 2 knights as well. Nothing here is stationary. We didn't get any kings or queens. I mean the bee, but the bee is waking up here, right? It's ready to make some honey, to get some nectar, to do some things. So make a decision, move it forward, do it yourself. Don't wait for someone else to do it. Ultimately, you are the the point of action. You are the decision. Okay, so that's what I see. You're going to have to probably push it forward yourself. Let's look at the relationships. How's this going to factor in? How can you embrace what seems like an influx of people or heart-centered energy? How can you open up to the love that wants to come in? Or how can you love yourself more? You have to let something go first. So we have 2 death cards. We have the gentle death card, and then death needed to kind of like come in and give me a literal symbol on my third eye here to say it's time to move through something. So that's why I was showing you the dandelion picture of the seed pod and then the full flower. So one window closes and another one gets blasted open with that Ace of Cups. So don't be afraid to step away from something. And he's moving towards the light, the skeleton, or she, who knows. They're moving towards the light. And it sort of seems like a fun little dance. And if I pull the card really close, can you see that the skeleton is holding a key? This movement is key to your growth. Letting go is key to the growth. Skeleton key, I get the joke here. But the skeleton's holding the key to unlimited possibilities, right? All right, now let's just do a wild card. This will be the second to last. I do the last card at the very end. So we're going to do a wild card to just see additional advice that you can embrace for success. Ten of Wands, moving on and moving. Okay, so 10 of Wands in reverse. One message with the 10 of Wands. This is also a physical message. You do not have to shoulder this burden anymore. It's time to let it go. So when the 10 of Wands is reversed, you're releasing something. So the release can be metaphorical too. It doesn't have to be like literal. It can be symbolic. So for some of you, it's just a decision that I'm done now with this. So for those of you that are musicians or painters or writers like I am, there comes a point where either because your agent needs it, your publisher needs it, or you need to work on the next project, or you've spent a decade working on it, like enough is enough. Let's move forward. So I feel like for many of you, this is also a subtle version of death, but it's very muted. This is usually new beginnings, endings and beginnings with this. But in my book, I refer to death as the one that stands at the nexus of ends and beginnings, and that's what this is. So as this closes, something opens up, and we see a rainbow, we see the stars, we see him reaching for the stars, we see the tree that is without life, and now he's moving into something different. So I feel like it is time to move on. Gosh, there's a lot of message about moving and moving on, but I think it's key. So let's look at your pre-meditation messages here in the soul space. We have picking a direction, taking control, taking authority, and knowing that you might have to do it yourself, speaking up for yourself, all of that. You're going to somehow turn the table, turn the wheel in your favor. Then we have the death card with a key coming through saying that the key to moving on is just moving on. The key to moving up is moving on. And then we see this movement here, graduation, something new, reaching for something higher, never thinking that you're done. Once you've achieved one thing, then there's a chance now to expand your imagination or your vision of what's possible, okay? Movement. Spread those wings. For your meditation today, I want to use the tree and the water and the bee because they all came to me. And I'll pull all these messages into the meditation. The meditation will last 2 to 3 minutes. Before I meditate, I want to remind you at the end, I'm going to pull a final card. And this final card is like the final word. It's your chance to, if I didn't touch something that's going on in your life, because this is general, hold it in your mind, hold it in your heart. And then at the very end, I'll pull a card and I'll interpret it and go pretty deep into one card. But there's a lot you can see with one. So we'll do that at the end. Before I do that, just a reminder that if you liked any part of this and you'd like to remember that there's, when I come through again in the future, sorry, it's my neighbor walking her dog. Then a great way to do this is just to hit the like and subscribe button. On one level, what this is going to do is actually help other people discover this. So again, sorry, apartment living. With this, basically hitting like, subscribe, and commenting on something is really important because it will allow you to see future videos. It helps other people discover it. For all the folks here that have sent some sort of support through Super Chat or applause, thank you. That also helps with engagement. You can also become a member. I saw we had a new member join before we got started, and there's some perks associated with that. You can check it out. And I'll talk a little bit about my book at the end, but before I do that, a reminder that you can also follow me on social media. A reminder on social media, I will never message you directly. There's some imposters out there that have messaged some of my followers and asked for things. I'll never do that. So you can follow me here. My username is always @NicholasAshbaugh. Look for the verified check mark on YouTube and on Facebook. I don't have it yet on Instagram, but it's just my name. If there are underscores after, in between, or before, it's fake. Go to my website, which I pinned a link from Dakota at the beginning, nicholasashbaugh.com. If you have any doubt, all of these links are on my website. I use stories wherever they're available on social media networks. I also have an Instagram @Ashbaugh, only one that's different. I'm on TikTok as well. I'm deciding what to do with that. Feel free to join me there. All right, let's get into the meditation. Again, 2 to 3 minutes, and then we're going to get into the final card. So if you just joined, still a good time. Think of the question that you want me to answer, and as we're meditating, I'll tune into it, and then I'll pull a card afterwards. I want this particular meditation to be on a nice, warm summer day, since we had the summer message coming through. And let's just imagine that you are in the middle. When I saw the trees, it wasn't like a forest. To me, it looked like an open field, and there were a couple of trees there. So let's imagine that it's more of sort of a meadow, if you will, and there's this open area, and it's kind of like, it's just rolling hills, okay? And there's a couple of trees and a lot of grass and a lot of wildflowers. So it's this nice sort of natural space where it's just you. Kind of reminds me of like the sound of music, like the hills of Austria or something. You're up there and you can just see nature, and there's a few trees, nothing crazy. All right, so as you're at the top of this hill or mountain, I want you to just sit down and imagine that you're kind of planting yourself here in this beautiful soft grass. You can see dandelions everywhere. Maybe you see clover as well, and they're little honeybees doing their thing. You're not bothering them, they're not bothering you. But I want you to focus on the sound of their buzzing, their singing. And I want you to meet the frequency, because they're actually helping you get into a higher frequency. So listen to the buzzing and start to feel almost energetically that you can tap into that. It's like you're plugging into an outlet and you're starting to buzz a little bit as well. Before you get too far gone, plant your hands and your feet on the ground for a moment and think to yourself, I am connected to everything around me. I'm connected to this planet. I'm connected to my higher source, and I'm ready to expand. I'm ready to receive. That thought is alchemic. And as you do that, you can see a spiritual sort of avatar overplaced or overprinted on your body. It's a tree. So you see the tree reaching up. You feel like you kind of could reach up in a couple of those branches and they can symbolize your arms. You feel the roots going into the planet, and a couple of those feel like they're your legs. And with your body sort of sitting cross-legged on the planet, your spiritual self starts to walk in this sort of tree-like, ant-like energy. And you can start to explore and see everything, feeling that you are strong, that your bark is thick, that you can take anything that comes your way. Growing a thicker skin was something that I forgot to review in the midpoint, and that's something that's coming through here. You have the capacity to withstand anything, including sickness. So important right now. That was one of the things that was a gift with this meditation, is you're going to be strong enough to stay healthy as we continue to fight to stay healthy over the next year. So feel that your bark is thick, that your aura is strong, and because of the geek that I am, if you really read any of Tolkien's work, back into the Silmarillion, they actually had a tree that symbolized the sun and the moon. So the trees would glow. That's kind of one of the reasons I was inspired to have a tree that would glow. So just imagine that your tree is like bioluminescent. It can shine as bright as the moon or the sun, whichever one you want. So see yourself shining brightly. And in this moment, I just want you to relax and receive. At this point, some of nature wants to join in with this spiritual avatar. So hummingbirds, bluebirds, bees, maybe a squirrel, all of these wonderful sort of natural energies want to celebrate that you found your higher self here. Just enjoy, just receive, open up, and feel strong. And that's it. Enjoy and feel your energy go higher as I play the singing bowl. Take a nice deep breath. Stretch out your arms and your branches, as if you will, in this sort of meditation. And I want you to gently find your body, walk back towards it, and imagine that you're going to melt back into this physical form, but you're keeping with you that sort of expanded aura. So even though you're back energetically in your body, you feel like you can see from 1,000 feet above. You feel like you could reach out several feet from where you are. You feel very grounded, and you have the thick skin that's going to serve you well this month when challenges come your way. To further kind of come back into your body before I pull the final card here, rub your hands together, put your left on your heart, your right on top of that, and feel the heart melt open a little bit because there was some opening there. You can even kind of stretch your chest out a little bit and feel that space open up. And let go. And let's get back into the final part of the reading. At this point, I'd like you to think of something that I didn't cover. If you just joined, you can just think to yourself a question. You don't have to type it, just think it. What's going on that you need some help with? Why did you click on my video today? What was the one thing that you were hoping to receive? Hold it in your mind, hold it in your heart, think about it. I'm going to shuffle here for a second or two, and I'm going to tune into the collective energy and the collective questions and find a common energetic pattern. Lovely. So for those of you that were asking a yes, no, this is a yes. For those of you that want some details, let's get into it. For the Four of Wands, what I like with this Four of Wands is you're not going to make the wrong choice. That's the message that Spirit's giving me. You have choices to make. You have to just move forward. Remember the Chariot. No one else can tell you. Don't lean too much on someone else. The Strength card can be overbearing, especially if she's reversed. So this is about you choosing the path that feels right for you. And there are a few in front of you. We see the number 3 again here, even though it's the Four of Wands. Also very auspicious for relationships. This can yield a great friendship or partnership. It can also show that something could start as a friendship and go deeper. This can be marriage. It can be a proposal. But what I like with this is that it's steady, it's solid, and it's the right time and the right place and the right decision. You may have to move through some sort of fear or doubt first. We see the moon here on the horizon, and the Four of Wands normally to me would be a daytime card, but it's the night here. And we see the wands lighting the path or lighting the way. So sometimes you have to believe it, see it, dream it before it happens here. And so there's a little bit of holding that torch and keeping it moving. So don't give up. Like I said, sometimes the second or third time's a charm. And what I see here again is movement, and there's a lot of positive shifts that are happening on a relationship front for you this month, Pisces. So the key to this, though, is it may not be who you're with. It might be someone new, a new friend, a new colleague, a new partnership. For those of you that are in a relationship that's stuck, this is really about honoring what we saw, not so subtly with the Death card, but a little bit more subtly with the Six of Swords and the Ten of Wands. Change, movement, and even this is a change card. The Wheel of Fortune is in many decks the Wheel of the Year, and basically will show 4 seasons, and it's life and death and rebirth. So yeah, choose the path of starting something new. You can do it again. You can do it. Yes. Confirmation, affirmation, and it's a very positive card for whatever questions you were asking. I see very good things here. Okay. And you're not alone, even though you feel like you're alone, because she's stepping into the energy that will allow for the partnership to come through. This is very Field of Dreams. You have to hold the space in order for things to come in. So you have to build it first, then people come. And sometimes that's clients, sometimes that's love, sometimes that's success, whatever, but you have to hold the space for it first. Okay. Really great energy overall. Yes, there is a sacrifice or a release, but it's very much, it was in the environment. It didn't seem like it was heavy. And the only other thing that I saw for you is just moving past undervaluing or underestimation. And I think that will be key to success. But with a crowning card being that, and also your center card being this, it's just beautiful energy overall. Very representative of your sign, very much your element. Even the Wheel of Fortune is very Piscean. So good stuff for you. Good month ahead. And all you have to do is release a little bit and let go. If you hold on, or if you hold back, or if you block it, then that's the only thing that can kind of bring this back a little bit. And I forgot, I think, to mention this power and healing card here at the midpoint. So this was your catalyst, which is basically focusing on, it says you have to get what you love, you first have to be patient with what you have. So I would also say this is self-love and self-acceptance. I forgot to review that at the midpoint, but we did it now. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for Maria and Dakota. I appreciate you guys sticking around a couple minutes extra. If you are interested in my book, I mentioned I was going to talk about that at the end here. You can get this through my website. You can click on the link above. And there are plenty of places to buy this online. It's available in paperback and hardcover. It's also on ebook. And one interesting thing is, in the US, the hardcover is really cheap right now. I want to say it's like 21, 22 bucks, and this is like $19.99. So this is about $1.50 more. You should pick it up. They've reduced it by like 33%. So good time to get a hardcover if you want it. It's mostly for fans of science fiction and fantasy. I am psychic intuitive, so if you're awakening, there's still messages for everyone. But it isn't an easier read. This is something that, again, like Lord of the Rings are doing, it requires a little bit of time and attention. So if that's your cup of tea, go for it. Otherwise, there are plenty of ways to give back if you'd like to. And the easiest way, and it's really helped, I've actually noticed an improvement. I just want to express gratitude. Just please, I think we've got a decent amount here of, we've got 207 likes. So if anyone else wants to do it and hasn't, those likes help a lot. It doesn't require anything but punching that button. So hit the thumbs up, and then later leave me a comment and subscribe. Let me know that you're watching. Over 50%, it's something like 55% of the people that watch me don't subscribe. I don't know why. So maybe today you can change that and hit the subscribe button and let me know that there's someone out there. Thank you so much. I'm going to be back, by the way, on Sunday. So please join me. I'd like to do a collective reading, and anybody that's interested in showing up can show up, and there'll be messages for everyone. Next month, I'm thinking of some other things. Let me know if this is something you'd ever be interested in. You can leave it in the comments below. Are you interested in something like dream interpretation? Because I do a lot of that. So I might do a bonus reading. Usually I do 13 readings, but I might do a 14th with dream interpretation if that's something that you guys are interested in. So leave a comment below. I'll also ask for some comments on the collective if that's something you're interested in. But the collective is on the 28th, which is a Sunday. It's at 9 a.m. Pacific time, same time that I always do it. So I'll be off on Friday, but I'll be back on Sunday, and I'd love to see you guys there. Take care of yourselves. Have a great month. Sign up for my newsletter if you haven't already. I'll be sending that out around the 1st. So I put some additional information into that, so you can sign up on my website. Okay? Take care. Have a great day. Open up your heart. There's some great stuff coming for you, Pisces. I appreciate you guys, and I wish you all the best. Bye-bye.